Australia's EV market has hit a tipping point with sales exploding by 134% in the last year, would you believe? And it's no longer just a Tesla story. A flood of cheap Chinese electric vehicles have hit the market, with experts saying petrol cars from legacy brands could be fighting for survival.
Yeah, that's right. From Range Rover-like luxury without the price tag to a wave of affordable hatchbacks, it's no surprise Aussies are jumping on board. But how do these cars compare to traditional engines long term, and are there any downsides? Some good questions there. For more, we're joined by Anthony Crawford from Car Expert to hopefully answer a few of those. Let's start with cost of powering the car. Which one's better, petrol or EV?
So hard to compare. But you can see up there on the board, you say it's $720 a year versus $1,740 a year just in fuel. But you do have a higher price for an EV versus the petrol up front. So it's very hard to compare apples to apples. But of course, if you live in the city and you're just driving around town, you're plugging in at home every night, it's 30 cents a kilowatt hour, which is nothing compared to petrol.
Yeah.
Which is kind of equivalent to $2 a litre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't have to go to a petrol station.
Yeah.
You plug in every night like a phone.
OK, what about servicing?
Servicing is almost nothing, as you can see.
On an EV?
On an EV, $155 versus $300 virtually.
I'd like to get, I've never had a service for $300 on mine. I'm doing something wrong on my petrol car.
But, you know, there's no engine oil, there's no fuel system, there's no exhaust system, so there's bugger all to actually do to the car.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So,
what about longevity? People are worried, aren't they? How long are these EVs particularly going to last?
Yeah.
Because we know that, you know, when you talk about a Land Cruiser that goes 400,000 Ks, etc.
Or more.
Or more.
So don't worry about longevity of the battery. It will, the Cattle, which is the biggest battery maker in the world, they say that the battery can last for 2 million kilometres. They've said that before publicly, but of course the warranty on the battery is normally 8 years anyway, but they say it easily lasts to 15 years, 15 to 16 years. Now that's generally outlasts the ownership of the car itself. So it really is nothing to worry about, and we've now got gel batteries coming, semi-solid state, which will last for forever.
OK, depreciation.
Depreciation, we don't have enough data at this point, and EVs haven't been around long enough to see what the actual floor is of that depreciation. But I wouldn't be concerned about that. There you go there, 4% battery loss after 134,000 Ks. This guy in Queensland driving his 2013 BMW i3. So 4% loss only in 13 years. It's insane.
Interesting, on the battery.
On the batteries, so going back to that subject matter. But yeah, look, they're fantastic. People are taking them up. In the first 7 months of 2025, people bought 54,000 EVs. Jump to 2026, they bought 127,000 EVs. It's a 134% increase. And we haven't seen them, and they're sort of relatively expensive EVs. Now we've got sub 30 grand EVs, sub $30,000. So now we're going to have another wave of people buying EVs simply because of the price point. Now, if we think we have 75 brands in Australia, there are another 12 at least coming from China in the next 2 years, EVs, hybrids, etc., and all that sort of thing. So hybrids.
Yeah, Chinese brands have been the game changer, really, haven't they? They've brought the cost right down.
Yeah.
If you were going to choose right now, would you pick a hybrid as the sweet spot?
It is the sweet spot if you want to do some long trips, because we now have super hybrids from the likes of Chery, JQ. They can go 1,000 plus Ks on one charge and one plug-in, which is insane, right? And they're fast. They've got 3 electric motors. And these cars are under 60 grand.
You sound like you're in the EV camp, because I'm from WA and people there
Bunbury.
say... Yeah, exactly. So people there say, oh, hang on, we do long drives. We drive, you know, 15 hours up north just for, you know...
hybrid.
A long weekend virtually.
Yeah.
So what do you say to people who aren't living in a city?
Super hybrid is brilliant. You can commute all week to work on EV power only and use zero fuel. When you want to go away or weekend away, you're driving 400 Ks, super hybrid kicks in, and you're using almost no fuel anyway. They do have an engine, of course, which has to be serviced and all that. So they're the things you got to weigh up. It's all about lifestyle.
And how far, just one last thing, how far are we behind on charging stations?
We are behind the likes of China, who have 1,000 kilowatt charging bays. We have up to 450 or 400 mostly. But, you know, when you plan it, it's no big deal. You're plugging it at home. There are, if you go down the Southern Highlands from Sydney, there are 6 400 kilowatt chargers, which is a 5-minute charge to have a coffee.
Wow, 5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes, literally.
Okay.
Anthony, thanks for coming in. Really
pleasure.
appreciate it. We're going to get more text on the text line too. We'll tap into your expertise.
Thanks, guys.